Well, this thing it seemed like and he got your man's, and he got his so stupid ass. I mean, yeah, you feel how you want about it. I don't know, but he got. I mean, he got away for a couple of days, so he had a chance. So I mean, but they got him. Now they about to make an example. Let's listen in.
In an appearance that is ongoing on another network, just said that there is now a suspect in custody for the Charlie Kirk assassination. We'll say that again. President Trump just now announcing that a suspect is in custody connected to the Charlie Kirk killing of a few days ago. The president just said this on Fox and Friends. I'll read the quote. "I think with a high degree of certainty, we have him in custody. Essentially, somebody that was very close to him turned him in. And that happens," the president adds. He goes on.
You know why that happened? That's strictly because $100,000 reward. Yeah, he out of there. That had to be a family member, somebody, ex-girlfriend, a disgruntled worker, co-worker. Ooh wee. And they gotta pay taxes, so let's say 100,000. So he got 68. They got a $68,000 reward.
On to say the tip stemmed from a minister, Trump says he believes, who passed the tip to a friend who was a U.S. Marshal. And then they involved the father of the suspect. We don't have an identity yet. We don't have a name of this suspect. President Trump himself saying that he learned of it just a few moments before he stepped on set. This is all taking place in the last couple minutes, as you might imagine. This is a very fluid situation. Seems like the president himself was just briefed on this. There were some details he acknowledged he did not know. But to recap the breaking news, of course, the assassination of Charlie Kirk, the conservative political commentator and organizer, shot in broad daylight on a college campus in Utah a couple of days ago. Video graphic went around the world very quickly. There's been an intensive manhunt for this suspect here. You're seeing the individual on your screen. These are images released by the police yesterday as they they're imploring the public to come forward with help, come forward with tips, with other information about this person. So now we're going to hear, I believe we're going to hear now what President Trump said just a few moments ago.
I think with a high degree of certainty, we have him in custody, right? In custody. Everyone did a great job. We worked with the local police, the governor. Everybody did a great job. You know, getting somebody that you start off with absolutely nothing. And we started off with a clip that made him look like an ant that was almost useless. We just saw there was somebody up there. And so much work has been done over the last 2.5 days. You know, it's amazing, actually, when you start off with that and then all of a sudden you get lucky or talent or whatever it is. But, yeah, I think we're in great shape. Mr. President. He's in custody.
That was President Trump just a few moments ago on Fox and Friends. He's here in New York City, appearing in studio just across the street, saying with a high degree of certainty, quoting him, that they have the suspect in.
Yeah, when they first started putting these pictures up, I was like, man, it was horrible. I'm like, from the camera, I'm like, man, these pictures, I'm just like, I thought he looked like somebody that had burn injuries or something like that. Couldn't make this dude out what he looked like.
In custody, but we don't know who this person is. We believe at 9 o'clock Eastern time, so about 45 minutes from now, authorities in Utah will hold a news conference. Let's bring in now MSNBC investigative correspondent Mark Santia. Mark, thank you for rushing back to set. This is obviously a breaking story. Just a few moments ago, the president said this. Is there anything else we've learned as to what happened?
No, right now, I mean, this is a major development. For the president to say, quote, we have him. He's in custody. Obviously, major development. We're working the phones right now, along with my colleague Tom Winter, Jonathan Dienst, reaching out. We know, as you said, Jonathan, there's a 9 o'clock press conference. We were told about a 9 o'clock press conference in Utah. And then shortly after, the president made these statements. Again, quote, we have him. He's in custody. The president also said talked about the great work that's been done over the last several hours, the last couple of days. At this point, we're just waiting to hear. This is something that is very, very fluid at this time. We knew they were close. We knew they had, Jonathan, 7,000 tips, pieces of digital evidence. They were following several leads. So we knew, just talking to law enforcement sources and sources familiar with this investigation, we knew they were on it. We knew they were tracking down several leads. And you just heard from the president. He said, again, quote, "We have him."
Yeah, I'm following along with the president's appearance. He says he hopes the suspect gets the death penalty. Obviously, you need a trial and conviction before that. He's moved on to other topics right now, including the nickname of the Washington Commanders football team, but we'll bring it to you if he says anything else. But to recap, just a few moments ago, President Trump, in a media appearance, said that a suspect in custody, no identity yet, certainly no sense of motive just yet. But it appears Ken Delanian is joining us now, MSNBC Justice and Intelligence correspondent. So, Ken, I'll come to you with this. It appears that the decision by the law enforcement in Utah to go public with these images is paid off. We carried that news conference live on our air yesterday. About 24 hours ago, the FBI in Utah said they weren't going to do that just yet, that they didn't think they needed to take that step. Well, they developed that.
What I'm saying here too, like somebody that was like brazen enough to get up there and take a shot at him, and I guess he wasn't Charlie wasn't a major politician or running a candidate to be a politician. Maybe in the future, possibly that could happen. But I'm surprised he went into police custody. I thought he would have been like one of them suicidal dudes that wasn't gonna go alive. So that's crazy that they was actually, well, I don't know. I'm trying to find the details now. I could be speaking prematurely, but I don't know. Let's see. I mean,
Better images. We're seeing them here. They released them. They put out some video of the suspect both arriving and then fleeing the school after the shooting. And now these fairly high resolution images in the stairwell captured, I believe, by a campus security camera. These perhaps is what helped. Ken, what more do we know?
Yeah, we're just working the phones, as Mark said, right now, trying to understand what the president is saying. The images may have helped, Jonathan, or it could have been something entirely different. For example, the suspect could have decided to confess or turn himself in. We just don't know at this moment. Last night, it really appeared that they were stymied. I mean, they waited for hours to hold a news conference, and then when they did, they said very little and essentially started reciting how many interviews they had done and how many teams were working on the case, which when law enforcement starts talking about that, you kind of suggest they really don't have very much. And the head of Utah's public safety told NBC's Morgan Chesky last night that they had no idea who this person is or where this person was last night. Could have been hundreds of miles away from Utah, could have been close. They had no idea. So it really suggests that something dramatic happened overnight. It's possible someone identified this person from the photos, although the resolution on the face was not terrific. Obviously not good enough for the FBI to make a facial recognition match. Because again, very clear last night, they did not know, they did not have an identity of the suspect. So it does look like something dramatic has happened,
well,
Jonathan.
According to the president, what that dramatic moment was, and we don't quite have the chronology, but he is saying that a minister, apparently, didn't identify who the minister is or where the minister lives, but a minister recognized the shooter, went to an acquaintance, a friend of his who's a member of law enforcement. At that point, the shooter's, or the suspect's family was also involved. The president said that the minister spoke to the suspect's father, perhaps, and that led to him being taken into custody. But again, we should note again, Mark, the president said that he was just briefed on this development a few moments ago, like right before he went on camera. So he has also acknowledged he does not have the complete story here as to what went. And we should also note of caution that twice before, in this very shooting, the police detained someone they thought was a person of interest, even a potential suspect, one of whom the FBI director, Kash Patel, took to social media and said, "We've got our guy," only an hour or two later to say, well, he wasn't our guy. So these things are fluid. But if the president of the United States is saying it, you'd have to think they have some degree of certainty that at minimum, this is someone that they really want to talk to.
I think you're absolutely right. The president saying it, coupled with in 40 minutes, there's going to be a press conference in Utah. there is obviously something imminent. This is breaking, and as you said, fluid. But I think what's interesting, Jonathan, is you had the stills. Ken was talking about the stills that were released. You had the direct sort of still photographs of the suspect's face. And then last night, there was a push to get out the clothing. The police commissioner talking specifically about the Converse shoes, the sweatshirt with the American flag and the eagle. And they were reaching out to the public. I mean, if you know this person, there's a good chance you might recognize him. But then when you couple that photo of the face with the Converse shoes or some of the clothes, it...
And it's crazy, too, because ain't like that dude. The Converse didn't look new. So for you to have some Converse, them shoes, I mean, if you take them through there, do not boots. They ain't going to last too long if you're really down on them. And if you had them for a while, you know. So it's a reason why he wore that Pacific shirt. It's a reason, you know, people going to know, like, yeah, I know who's some, I know they got them old Converse, you know. Ain't like them some common shoes. Ain't like they was a pair of Skechers or something like that. Them Converse is very distinctive, so.
Might ring a bell. And we've seen in several different investigations, people close, people stepping up and speaking out if they recognize someone. Again, the president saying, we have him, he's in custody. And as you said, someone who knew him, according to the president, turned him in.
Now, this president, not always the most reliable narrator, but again, you'd think that he would, be certain of this development before going public with it. We should also recap some of the other evidence they had found. The rifle, the bolt-action rifle, was discovered. A palm print was found, and then Mark, staying with you, we said the video of this individual, the believed suspect, both arriving and then fleeing. We saw that earlier in our show, jumping off the roof, landing pretty hard, I'd have to say, about 10, 15 feet down, and then making his way through a woods and then a neighborhood, and then they lose sight of him.
Yeah, that landing, as you said, that sort of hard landing, police and federal agents say they had a shoe impression, a footwear impression there.
You can see it
hitting
here.
the ground, right?
He's about to jump.
Scales that. You have that palm print, according to police. There's a forearm print, and then finally makes that leap downward. And police say they have a shoe wear impression there. They'll be analyzing that as well. Then runs into the wooded area where police say they recovered a weapon, that bolt-action rifle. Talking to retired ATF agents, they say it's a high-powered rifle that's being analyzed. They found several cartridges, including spent rounds that were found. ATF will tell you, bullets can tell a story, Jonathan. The casing that holds the bullet can tell a story. The actual gun can tell a story. They're reviewing that, looking at prints. You have multiple facets of this investigation in sort of moving right now. It's very, very fluid. Obviously, it's stepped up, it's ramped up based on what the president has said just moments ago.
And Charlie Kirk, of course, a close ally of the president, really, really a dear friend to the president's children, Donald Trump Jr. in particular. He was a close ally of Vice President J.D. Vance. In fact, Vance flew to Utah yesterday on Air Force Two and then took Kirk's body, his casket, on the Air Force Two, the vice presidential plane, flying from Utah back to his home in Arizona ahead of, we anticipate, funeral services in the days ahead. So
there it is. They got him. I mean, they got him. So it's still, like I said, it's still at this time, it's still a development story, but this is very going to be viral all day. People going to be talking about this for the next few days, just to say the least. But, man, what crazy times we live in. And it's crazy times we live in. Wow. All right, well, hey.